this video, I'm going to be going over a simple way you can play a pretty traditional blues intro, and it can also be used as a turnaround, and with a little bit of a variation, you can use it as an ending too. I'm in E standard tuning for this, and I'm going to be doing this for an E major blues progression, so this is the key of E. So it's pretty simple. You've probably heard it thousands of times in blues recordings, so it sounds like this. What I'm doing here is I'm fretting in the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and I'm simultaneously playing the open 1st string. So and then I'm just going to shift. I'm going to slide my middle finger down. I'm going to play the 2nd string again in the 2nd fret, and then the open E string. Play those together, and then go down to the 1st fret, same thing. And then just the open B and E string. So that's the first little section there. The next section, we're going to go to a B 7th chord with a little bit of a chromatic walk up to it. So I'll show you the whole thing together. Open A string, and then chromatic 1st fret, 2nd fret. And then you can play around with, what's comfortable for you, if you want to place everything down all together on the chord, or kind of, one by one do it, but just make sure it's in rhythm. So then, and there's, different ways you can play around with the rhythm and stuff, but or you can, arpeggiate it. Or like, swing behind it with the strum down. So many thousands of ways you can do this, and I encourage you, to experiment. That's how I would practice it too. If it's if you're brand new to this, or you're having trouble, I would definitely get the first part down, and then make sure you got that down pretty good, and then I would separate the 2nd section going to the B 7th chord. So make sure you can do each one of those, pretty well without mistakes before you go and try to play the whole thing. That's one way to do it. If you like to just, tackle the whole thing at once and go for it. But again, the goal is to be able to, in rhythm, so this essentially leads you to your 1st chord. So it would just, lead you to the beginning of your progression. So you might already, be aware of this or be able to tell. You can think of this as like the last 2 bars of your blues progression. So that's how we can use this as the turnaround going into the next cycle of the 12 bars. So I'll show you that now. So I'll do it as an intro, and then place it in as the turnaround, and then loop it again. give you a little trick to how you can play this for any key that you're in. No theory or anything required. It's just a little pattern that you can sort of recognize. So if we're going to do this for A major blues, one way you can play this is like this. And this is exactly the same intervals and everything. It's the same lick or riff, whatever you want to call it. It's just played in the key of A. I'm playing a G on the 2nd string in the 8th fret. And then I'm also fretting the 6th string in the 5th fret at the same time. And then I'm going to walk down while keeping this A on the 1st string here in the 5th fret. I'm going to keep that down and walk down. So we're in the 8th fret, 7th fret, 6th fret, 5th fret together. And then the walk up, going up to the 5 chord, is we're going to an E7. So I'm gonna walk up from the 5th fret on the 5th string. So 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, and then I'm gonna lay down the E7th chord. Placement in your progression can be exactly the same as we did for the E key. What I want to show you though is a little trick how you can recognize where to play this for what key. So if we look at this, when we were playing the A key, I had my first finger on the 5th fret in the on the 1st string. This is your root note for your key, right? So in the key of A, you're going to play an A on that 1st string. So we're on the 5th fret, and then we'll do the same pattern. So how can we play this for the key of B? Let's just say B major blues progression. I'm going to find where I can play a B on the 1st string. So we can do that in the 7th fret. And then I'm going to play the exact same pattern there. So remember for A, it was the 5th fret and the 8th fret for your 2nd string. And now if we want to go to B, slide the whole thing up to where your first finger is now on B. And now you're going to have your 2nd string played in the 10th fret, and then exactly the same pattern now. So for A, if you remember, we did the walk up in the 5th fret, 6th fret, and then played the E with your, root there in the 7th fret. And now the same thing, because we're sliding up to B now. And this works for the key of B. And if we want to do G, let's just say, find where the 1st string, you can play a G, 3rd fret. I'm just going to lay my pinky down on the F here in the 6th fret. And then walk up 3rd fret, 4th fret, and play the D7. Basically, whatever key you're in, that's where you want to play your index finger. And then just play that exact same pattern, and it'll work. And I should mention, too, you don't have to play both strings at the same time. You can get pretty much the same effect. You can do just that walk down. So we're in A major here. A major blues progression. So if you remember, we had index finger down there, and then we started the walk down on the pinky with the 2nd string in the 8th fret. It just sounds a little bit more, I feel like I've heard more people play the 2 strings together, and it sounds kind of cool. But you can also just do So don't even worry about the first string. That's a good way to start too. If you're having trouble playing both at the same time, you want to like build up to it. That's a good way to start. And then also too, if you're using slide as an example, obviously you're going to have trouble trying to play slide for that big of a stretch. So there's also a variation you can do on this that you can use as an ending too. Again, it's just a very traditional ending. It's not the only ending, it's just one. Say we're coming up to the 5 chord, so we're in E major, so we're coming up to the B7. So everything is the same here rhythmically. What's happening here though, instead of going up to the playing that B7th one more time right at the end before we go back to the beginning of the progression, what we're going to do is, and we're just going to end there, starting in the 5th fret on the 5th string, and I'm going to walk up chromatically 5th, 6th, 7th fret, and then I'm playing in the E7th chord to end. So, and again, so this part's exactly the same. So another way you might have heard this too. Just playing an E flat 7th chord, so it's the same shape, it's just now in the 6th fret instead of the 7th fret. Or even going down, F7th to the E7th. Same shape, we're just in the 8th fret, going back to the 7th. So that variation doesn't have the walk up there. So this is, one way I've heard, pretty traditional ending to a blues. With this, piece here, you've got a way you can play an intro, a turnaround, and an ending. I'm not sure where it originates from. I just feel like I've heard it in so many recordings. If you do know though where it comes from, definitely let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear that. All right, so that's pretty much it. I hope that video was helpful. If you did enjoy it, it'd be great if you could give a thumbs up on the video and also consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you.